Hello Steamians, welcome back. My name is Bucky Dirtle and I'm going to be doing a tutorial today on a component of the Helm software synthesizer. Now Helm is fantastic. You'll hear me raving about it from time to time. It's a great little tool, it's a great little synthesizer. Helm is it harkens back to the days of analog synthesizers when we had full control over all aspects of the sound. Well, Helm lets us do that as well. So, and it's an open source. It's a great app, and it's available to everybody. So I love using it. I love seeing other people use it. Okay, one of the most important components in Helm is the oscillator. We have four tone producers, four sound producers in Helm, and the oscillators, the two main oscillators, are the main sound producers. So we see here we have two oscillators here in our oscillator window. Now, when you open it up, you're going to get, the oscillators are going to be in this configuration. So you're going to get this kind of sound. You're going to get that kind of sound, okay? Now that waveform is there for us. It's a saw down waveform. I'm going to switch this over to a sine wave sound. So now we get this. So it's a different sort of wave, it's a different sound. I want to start there because that's the simplest of sounds, and it's an easy place to start. Now with this oscillator, we actually have two oscillators. We have one on the left, one on the right. And if you look below it, in the mixer, we have two oscillator sliders. So this is the volume level for oscillator 1, and this is the volume level for oscillator 2. I'm going to turn oscillator 2 down for what I'm going to show you now. So what this means is we're only hearing this oscillator. If I turn the oscillator 2 up, you'll hear the second oscillator, but I'm going to talk to you about that another time. So we're only going to hear this one oscillator. So you can hear that there now. That's a single oscillator making a sine wave, and that's the shape we have here. Now, up at the top of this oscillator, you'll see there's a little slider at the top, and when you slide it across, you see it does all kinds of funky things with our sound wave. Now, I'm going to go through a few of these and just to demonstrate what they sound like. Again, this is a sine wave, as we see here, and this is a great place to start. But if we click one notch over, or if we, in the window, if we left click, it will make one step to the right, and it will give us a next waveform. And this waveform here that we have, this is a triangle waveform. So you can hear the difference. So now if I compare that to a sine wave, it has a completely different signature. So again, triangle. Now if we click another one, we're going to go to the next to the square wave. And actually, if you look in our little, I'll call it an oscilloscope, but a little graph in the middle of the top, you can see what output sound, what it looks like. And you can see it looks like squares. So that's our, and actually for that graph, when you combine sounds, you'll see they look a little different as the sounds combine, the notes combine. Okay, we're not going to talk about that today. Let's try another sound source, another sound wave, sorry. Now this is the saw up. This is another waveform. So that's our saw up. Our saw down is another, very similar to our saw up. It's our saw down. Let's go to the next one. This is our 3-step. And our next one, our 4-step. Sounds a little different than our 3-step. 8-step. Now we're into our pyramid, our 3 pyramid. And this is our 5 pyramid. You can see that the sound is very different. And this is our 9 pyramid. Now, all these waveforms have their own characteristic, and you may have uses for them at different sounds. Especially if you listen to any TV shows or movies, you'll find that these sounds they show up all over the place in like sound design. Sometimes that's music. Sometimes it's just sound effects or emotional effects you want to have in a piece of theater or a piece of TV, a piece of film. You can do different. You're going to get different sounds if you use different waveforms. Anyway, I want to go back to our original one, our sine wave, because that's our simplest wave, and that's the one that it's nice to use this one as we're experimenting with some of the other functions, because it kind of gives us a benchmark to work from. So I'm sitting in front of a keyboard here, and I can take a dial that's on my keyboard, and I can assign it to this function here, the trans function. So I'm going to do that. I just right-clicked on the trans dial, the knob, and I'll say Learn MIDI Assignment. So I click that, and then I just rotate the dial on my keyboard, and now it's learned. So now when I play, I can change it around. Okay. Now what I want to show you about these two dials, first the trans dial. I'm not going to assign the other dial. The trans dial, that's transpose. So what that means is that this oscillator, when I play a C right now, when it's in the 0 setting, it's playing a C. If I rotate the dial down by 1 semitone, it'll drop it down a semitone. And then another semitone, another, and another. It drops it on down. So I can do that with my mouse as well. If you notice here, and when I slide it, I'm using my mouse now, not the dial on my keyboard. Look, I can go 5 semitones, -6, -7. So if I hit it now, if I go up, if I hit like, okay, first of all, I double click it, it'll bring it to 0. That's a C. If I go up 7 semitones here now, that'll be a G. So now it's a G. So that right now you might be saying, why would I do that? Why don't I just play a G? When we start talking about the second oscillator, this will make a lot more sense. But you can do that. You can transpose it. So when you hit a key, it's not actually playing the key it's supposed to play. You're actually playing so many semitones up or down. And again, you can assign it to your knob on your hardware. Now, the tune is between the semitones. It's the sense between the semitones. So if I hit a C and I turn this down, you can hear it goes down a little. It's not going down a lot. So I can fine tune between, I don't have to go a full semitone, I can go a half a semitone or like a thousandth of a semitone. I can really fine tune that. And again, you may not see that as being useful while we're talking about one single oscillator. When we put two oscillators together, that makes a lot of difference. Just look at gamelan and the way gamelan is tuned and you'll know right away what I'm talking about. Okay, but we'll talk about that another time. So there we have that. Now the last thing I want to speak about is this these set of numbers here, unison. Now unison, if I play my single note at C, that's one single note. If I take that and I make it a 3, that actually gives me 3. It takes that single oscillator and it multiplies it. It actually duplicates it 3 times. So then I have 3 oscillators playing the same note. If I do it again, I slab my up again, I got 5. Now I got 5 oscillators playing the same note. And you might say again, why would I do that? Well, it's about tuning. 7 oscillators playing the same note, you can see now. Well, let me go back to 5. Right now, these notes are perfectly in tune. But if I take these notes and I compare it to 0, like this, they'd be perfectly in tune. You can hear it's a single note. Actually, I had it out of tune before, but now it's in tune because it's on zeros, you see? Well, if I move it up to 10, that makes it 10 cents out of tune. The oscillators. I have 5 oscillators running now. So what it does is it takes the 5 oscillators and it puts those out of tune based on the number of cents I've chosen. So if I have 5 oscillators, then the 5th oscillator, the highest one, say, is 10 cents above the note. So it's 10 cents out of tune above the note. The 4th oscillator is 5. The 3rd oscillator is in tune. The 2nd oscillator is 5 below. And the 1st oscillator is 10 below. So let's take it again. If we think about it like this is my main note, my C, oscillator, oscillator. oscillator, oscillator, and this is the main oscillator. This one's 5 out of tune, this one's 10 out of tune. This one's -5 out of tune, this is -10 out of tune. So what it does is it makes a whole array of notes that are slightly out of tune with each other, and it gives you a wobbly kind of sound. You can hear it because it's a little bit out of tune. And the more I make it out of tune, the more that wobble will be pronounced. Up to 100 cents out of tune now, you can hear it's a very wobbly sound. So, and depending on the number of voices you choose, like I have 5, I can go 7, 9, 11. You get a much more dramatic wobble as the sounds interact with each other. So it's very cool the way you can do this. Now, I said at the beginning of this video that back in the day when we were using ARP 2600s and we were using Moog synthesizers and a lot of other analog pieces of equipment, we had full control over the sound. We could take a sine wave and we could minutely change it to give us a certain color or certain timbre. That's what this is about. It's about fine-tuning the sound to get exactly what it is that you want. So it's very, very customizable. That's why I love it, because I can make a sound that's unique. Nobody's ever heard it before in any kind of piece of music. So I can work with things to make my own custom, my own unique signature sound. So that's really cool. We're just starting on the first oscillator. We have a full array of tools we can use now to expand on our sound and our sound choices. Very exciting. Okay, thank you for watching me on this one. And if you have any questions, feel free to hit me up in the Steema chats, and you can also get me on the PAL Discord. And check out in Utopian.io, you'll find out I have a lot of tutorials here on Helm and some other audio things like Audacity that can help you in your studio and with your recording projects. Okay, thank you very much, and I hope to hear you soon. I want to hear all kinds of things about your music and your recordings. Okay, good luck with it, and I'll see you soon.